Khalil Barnes says they definitely look way better this year. He's talking about the offense, and we're going to dive into that statement in just a moment. Welcome to the show. It is a beautiful Saturday, August the 10th. We are 2 weeks from week 0. That's Florida State and Georgia Tech in Dublin. A couple other games that really no one else cares about, but hey, it's college football. I'll watch it. And then 3 weeks from today, Georgia and Clemson get together in Atlanta, 12 o'clock. I believe it's on ABC. So we're getting closer and closer. Remember, it was 6 months until opening day. And then it wasn't too long ago. It was 100 days to kickoff. Now we're 3 weeks until Clemson and Georgia play. I'm excited. I'm ready for it. I know you probably are as well. And this comment that Khalil Barnes made maybe gives us a little more to set up and how, sit up straight and maybe take the offense a little more serious. I hope so. But before I get into that, I do hope you'll subscribe. It's the easiest way to support the show, and it is free. So it's not costing you anything. I mean, just click that subscribe button. I'm very close to 4,000 subscribers. And on the day that Clemson and Georgia gets together, my channel turns 2 years old. That's right, 2 years old. So anyway, I do appreciate everyone who has already subscribed and will subscribe. So we're going to dive right in to the big show. Khalil Barnes was one of the most exciting players on the Clemson football team in 2023, a year that Clemson football and Clemson fans, the community, hasn't experienced a season like that in over a decade. But one of the bright spots in it was freshman Khalil Barnes. We know that in his spring game, he did great. And we're like, oh, that's a spring game. That means nothing. I disagree. But he came out. He played incredible all year long. When he was given a chance to be on the field, he took advantage of it and then some. Of course, the incredible play against South Carolina in the rivalry game. A low-scoring affair. The offense couldn't get the ball in the end zone. We can only muster up 3 field goals from the offense. I know it's special teams, but the offense led to it. But the one touchdown was an extremely exciting moment when young Khalil Barnes noticed that the pass was backwards, and he picked it up, took it to the house, scored a touchdown, and then later on had an extremely physical interception, defying physics in some forms. So this guy has a lot of attention from the Clemson community. We're talking about him right now, but he said this week to the media, he said that Clemson's offense looks way better. So I'm going to read a little bit of what he said to the media. And here we go. Quoting Khalil Barnes, Coach Riley, he's given us work, Barnes said when he was asked about the Clemson offense. Quote, they definitely look way better this year. They are putting their playmakers in space. I feel like a lot more of Tyler Brown, Antonio Williams, and Bryant Wesco, TJ Moore. He came on, so he's pretty good too. You see a lot of guys, it is not like our offense from last year. Last year, I felt like, listen to this statement by, at the time, a true freshman. He's now a true sophomore. But listen about his statement about last year's team, okay? Remember, last year's team had Will Shipley on it. It had Bo Collins on it. And I know he's at Notre Dame, but Bo Collins did really well at Clemson. He did not have the season that he wanted to have last year. Of course, had some drop passes. But some of y'all turned on Bo as soon as he entered the transfer portal. I'm not going to do that to the guy. Because Bo Collins went out and balled when other people were not balling. He had injury last year as well, if I hadn't said that already. But listen what this guy says about last year's team. Last year, I felt like we kind of had them in a box. Pause. I'm not even going to read the rest of the statement until I say this. How many times when Clemson's offense was playing against teams that just had a pulse, did it not seem like the opposing defense had Clemson in a box? That's a good word picture, young Khalil. Let's keep talking. Last year, I felt like we kind of had them in a box, but this year, they're just more free. You can tell they're having way more fun with it. They have a really good connection with Cade, so it's been good work for us, good preparation. He goes on to talk about Cade Klubnik. Cade has looked way better. I think he always had the arm talent, but I think with him, it was just kind of the leadership. And this year, he has gotten way more vocal, way more comfortable in his position, and it all translates. It all comes into one thing. At the end of the day, once he became a better leader, it just all of a sudden made it look like the offense is playing better. But they always had that. When the days that Cade taught last year was their best days. So now it's just, that's him every day. So as a defense, we know we have to bring it every day. So August 31st, hopefully everybody sees that, end quote from Khalil Barnes talking about Cade Klubnik. There's 31 of you in here. I hope you've subscribed. I'm glad you're here. Hit the thumbs up, drop a comment either in the live chat or in the comment section. All right. In 3 weeks, Clemson plays Georgia. As of right now, I believe the line is Georgia as a 2-touchdown favorite. And we as a Clemson community know that overall, the big drop-off between championship football, playoff contender football, and, well, what we have now, up to this point, I can't speak for the 2024 season, has been poor offense. During the great run that Clemson had from 2015 through that 2018 national championship. Now, I know some people feel differently about my timeline. You're going to talk about 2019 and getting back to the national championship. Or 2020, getting back to the college football playoff with Trevor Lawrence and ETN and company. You might want to talk about Taj Boyd and how they turned the corner. And I'm not disregarding that and its importance, but Clemson was really dominant from 2015 through that 2018 national championship. Yes, the Kelly Bryant years, you could talk about, hey, first round of the playoffs, we got it handed to us by Alabama. So if you want to exclude that, I'll leave that to your discretion. But even when Clemson lost 45-40 in the national championship with Deshaun Watson as a sophomore, that was an extremely dominant football team. And it was dominant on all sides of the football, including special teams. And what we have seen over the past few years, definitely post Trevor Lawrence. And Paul's there. Any criticism that I have about those last two teams with Trevor Lawrence and ETN deals nothing with them. It deals with coaching on the offensive side of the football. And I've explained that in prior videos. I'm not going to waste your time on that. You can disagree. That's totally fine. But I do remember an offensive coordinator saying they forsook the run when they had Travis Etienne. And folks, I'm telling you, I just really don't get that. That there was not even an assistant or an admin around him going, hey, you think we ought to give the ball to the best running back that's ever played at Clemson? Don't you think so? I think we're becoming a little too one-dimensional. But anyway, we have seen the drop-off, and it's been on the offense. I'm not saying that the defense has been perfect, but the reason that Clemson has stayed in games for the past 3 seasons, while the offense has been trying to figure out who they are, what they are, how they're going to play, if the quarterback's going to be able to get the ball to the receivers, if the offensive line is going to block, if the wide receivers can get separation, does the wide receivers even have time to get separation before the quarterback's running for his life? It's been the offense. And we can go into all the actual variables, the legitimate variables of coaching and playing and development and all of that comes into one oyster shell of the lack of offensive performance, putting points on the board against worthwhile football teams. And even teams that were not really that worthwhile, especially last year. What, they scored 17 points against Wake Forest? On homecoming? We know that if the offense was playing well right now, that we would have more confidence going into this August 31st showdown with Georgia. The first time that Clemson's played Georgia in 3 years. That line of 14 would not be a line of 14. When was the last time that Clemson was a 14-point underdog to anyone? We need to look that up. I'm not going to do it live. I'll save you some time. But we know why it is. It's not the defense. It's the offense. So, when you listen to Khalil Barnes, a guy who really gave us a lot last year. Yeah, he was talented, but there was other guys just as talented that was already at Clemson, and we had recruited in, but they hadn't lived up. Some of them hadn't lived up to it, but Khalil did. So even though he's young, I'm not discrediting his statement because of his youth. In fact, I look at his playability and what he brought to the field, and I say, you know what? He's at practice. He's not a coach. He didn't have to rave like he did. He didn't have to. He could say, you know what? They're definitely hitting on more, and, they're making us work harder, and, we're just having to stay on our game, and it's good preparation for Georgia. And he could wipe the sweat from his brow, go in, shower, and go back to his dorm room and go, hey, I dodged that bullet. Now, does this mean that Clemson's going to come in and not only beat Georgia, but make a run for the national championship? No, it doesn't. But it is very interesting, the verbiage that he used at this time. Because I'm going to tell you this. If the offense can play better football this year and not be one-dimensional, and the offensive line doesn't have to be, night and day from one another, but all the offense has to do is just give Cade another second. One more second. And then Cade not throw into double coverage or force the ball, which is the same thing. Create some shots down the field, even if you know it's going to fall incomplete, just to keep the safeties and the defense honest. We know that with Clemson's schedule, it's not that tough for the most part. You start off with Georgia. Yes, that's arguably the toughest team in America. NC State's going to bring a lot, but even by their own fans' admission, yeah, the defense has some good players here and there, but as a whole, that is their question mark for them. Florida State. This is going to be a tough game, but to me, it's far from Georgia. After that, who does Clemson play? Before that Florida State game, they play a terrible Stanford team. They play Appalachian State game 2. You got to be careful there. They are a good football team. They do have a historical reputation of ruining people's day. But if the offense just becomes productive across the board, Clemson could win 10 games easily this year with their schedule, and if the offense gets better, because the defense is going to come out and play well. They're coached well. There's a lot of really good players that are on the team. We have a lot of really, even though they're young, we have a lot of players who are really good at what they do. So everybody's focusing on Trotter being gone and Nate Wiggins being gone, Xavier Thomas being gone, Rook and Tyler Davis, and probably forgot someone else, Makuba transferring out. I get it. But listen to me. Listen to me. No one's worried about the defense at Clemson. It doesn't mean they're perfect. I'm just saying no one's worried about it. I'm not worried about it. Again, I'm not expecting perfection. It's question marks offense. So maybe we can take some encouragement here that Khalil Barnes, I think even one of the other DBs spoke out and said, yeah, they're getting tougher to play. They're getting tougher to play. Folks, as Clemson fans, I don't want them to lie to me, but why would Khalil Barnes go out to the media unless he had been put up to it? I just don't think so. Why would he come out and say verbatim, last year I felt like we kind of had them in a box, but this year they're just more free? I pay attention to the details that people give me. If it's overly detailed, I can kind of tell that maybe they prepared that and they're just feeding a line that was fed to them. But when it is just kind of relaxed like this, it makes me believe that he's telling the truth. Now let's pause there. Clemson's offense having to play against Clemson's defense all the time is good for Clemson's offense. Clemson's defense is very talented. Do they have room to grow? Yes. Do they need to get better in certain areas? Absolutely. I'm not saying they're the best defense in America, but they're no slouch. They're coached well. They have good players on the defense. But this gives me some encouragement that maybe, just maybe, they are turning the corner. Now, that in 3 weeks from now, I'm going to tell you something that, and I haven't got to the comment section. I see a bunch of you in here. I hope you've subscribed. It's free. Remember, I'm not an insider. You see that below my name right there? I'm not an insider. I'm not a journalist. I'm a dude in his bonus room. I have no strings attached to me, so I can say pretty much whatever I want to. I don't have to worry about someone going, shouldn't have said that. What? Tell the truth? The truth is, Clemson's offense has looked just mundane for a while, with some good plays here and there, mostly at the running back position. And that's not how Clemson was winning a lot of games and getting to the college football playoff and winning national championships. That's not how it happened. You know, we like to say things like, well, defense wins championships. It's a complete effort that wins championships, folks. You know that, and I know that. Let's get rid of the cute little sayings, and let's get down to the truth. It takes a complete football team to win a national championship. That's it. So, with that said, seeing that the offense, hopefully, the offense is improving, that gives Clemson a greater chance of winning 10 games, being competitive with Georgia, making the Florida State game more of a toss-up, leaning in their favor, and then NC State having to come to the Valley. They haven't won in the Valley since Phillip Rivers was quarterbacking for them back in 2002. So the offense can be incredible, but they're going against our defense. If their defense can't stop our offense and our offense has gotten better, I'm not saying returning to the days of 40 points per game. I'm just saying better, and they're putting the ball in the end zone more. And let's just say that Clemson loses to Georgia and Florida State. Let's just play that scenario. That's 10 wins. And probably an ACC championship appearance. Now, we just have to grow from where we're at. And yes, I said grow, not go. We have to grow from where we currently are. Right now, 10 wins, ACC championship appearance, and an offense that's playing way more competitively. That lets us know that things are going in the right directions and things are being fixed. So this could give us some encouragement. Now, they got to prove it in 3 weeks. 3 weeks they come out, they play against Georgia, the front runner for the national championship. Georgia's not the perfect football team. They're not Miami 01. They're not Nebraska 95. But if any of you are sitting here taking Georgia lightly, not lightly, but you're going, well, I know they're good, but I just think they're a bit overrated. Wrong answer at the state of any football team, but especially Clemson, where our team is at right now. We can't afford to think like that. Clemson needs to prepare as though they're about to play 01 Miami or 95 Nebraska. They need to prepare like they're about to play one of the greatest teams to ever touch the field. They need to prepare like they're about to play the 2018 Clemson football team that won a national championship, or the national champion 2018 team. They need to prepare for that right now. They don't need to be looking over at Georgia, nor do we, going, well, I heard so-and-so's suspended for driving too fast. Georgia, they're filling the jail cell. That's fun to talk about, but I'm going to tell you this. Georgia's going to come out and play hard against Clemson because they're on a revenge tour. They're on a revenge tour of what happened last year. And the last time Garrett Riley coached against them, he only put up 1 touchdown while they put up 65 points. Trust me, in the coaches' meeting, when the players are not around, they're laughing about it. We're going to do it to him again. So, is Georgia the greatest team ever? No. They're got a lot more going for them than us. And we need to treat them that way. They need to prepare. Clemson needs to prepare that way. And if this statement's even close to being true, we can be more competitive. And then throughout the year, win more football games. And turn the ship into the direction that we used to be in, where our offense and our defense was a problem. If we had to kick a field goal, by the way, we were hitting those too. So, good remarks. Let me get in here, comment section real quick. Just going to say hello to a lot of people. A lot of people. Thomas Mills, my old buddy over there. He and his wife, they're stationed in Germany. It's good to see you, my friend. It's good to see you. I think the proper German phrase is, I know you're American and you're from South Carolina, Clemson grads and so on, but I know you're in Germany, so willkommen. It's good to see you. Jonathan Hood in here. It's good to see you. Chase Thompson's in here. Jaden Butler. I'm going to do a whatchamacallit? Preseason prediction for Clemson, but I am waiting for us to get closer and closer to the season and get through some of these practices just in case there's a major injury. God forbid Cade gets hurt. Will's in here. P Digits is in here. It's good to see you. I agree with you. I still question Clemson's offense despite what players are saying. I agree with you. You got to show us. It's got to show it to us. Yes, Carolina Jackpot. Good to see you. The one that got the cheap touchdown against y'all when y'all threw the ball backwards and your wide receiver didn't jump on it. Yes. Yes, we picked it up and ran it back. It's good to see you. Mike, it's good to see you, Iowa. That's funny. Yeah. Let me see. James Samuel. Who knows if Clemson offered any more wide receivers? That's funny. It's good to see you. Love the streams. Just keep feeding Phil Moffitt. Yep, that's all we have to do. That's all we have to do. I got Truett Graves talking trash to Carolina Jackpot. Clemson has its best chance to run the table since Trevor left. Doesn't mean it's highly likely, but possible. Got John Sarian in here. Get in here. If the Tater offense looks good, maybe the defense they're playing against is awful. Great trash talk. Ricky Morgan, the 81 team, most of the teams around that team. It was great defense, and the offense scored just enough to win. I can see that, but most teams now, you gotta score. You gotta score touchdowns. I get what you're saying though. Cade plays good. Clemson win. It's all on Cade. in my opinion. Blake Ellis, Halo, Tigers by 90. Folks, it's good to see you if you're in here. I see you're 60, over 60 of you in here. I hope you'll hit the subscribe button. It is free, folks. It's free. And what does that mean? Well, it means you don't have to pay anything. So I hope you'll subscribe. Also, there's a join button below the video. It's $3 or $5 per month. You choose if you want to support the channel. Again, I'm not an insider. I'm not a journalist. I'm just a guy talking about my favorite team. So if you like that I don't have anybody pulling my strings and telling me what to say and what not to say, I hope you'll join the channel. $3 or $5 per month. Folks, it's always a good time. It's always good to talk some trash. And in 2 weeks, week 0 kicks off. And in 3 weeks, our season kicks off. That's going to be Clemson and Georgia, August 31st, 12 p.m. Here's one of the here's someone who joined my channel, Big John. Happy Saturday, Brian. I missed the first 24 minutes. Well, you should go back and watch it. I think you will like it, my friend. I think you will like it. It's good to see you, and thank you for supporting the channel. Folks, you take care of yourself, and as always, go Tigers.